also on varying ground, both at 2 miles. As I say, so far you could argue that his chasing form has not matched his hurdles form. As I mentioned, Sean Quinlan could ride a landmark success here. 49 course successes, I think, amongst his 511 career wins. And Theo Gillard, who recently rode out his claim, going through that 75 barrier, also had a winner yesterday. So he's now on to 76. Just the two runners for our first event. And Tell Him Listen has gone 1-4. Grey Skies 3-1. Pretty breezy here, and that breeze, we hear it rocking around the shutters in the commentary box, and that breeze is across the course, largely away. The only time it was really blustery was just coming out of the back straight, and had a walk round beforehand. It was the first time that I'd been here since they removed the cross fence. And it's now 5 in the back straight. So runners preparing to come forward for this match in a moment or two. Starter is on the rostrum. The breeze in the back straight as the two of them will shortly be called forward. Tell Him Listen, who's made the running of his victories over obstacles, and they're taking one more turn, so not yet ready to be called in. Still haven't quite reached post time, so I say Tell Him Listen tends to make the running over hurdles, but he does have rather more fences to cover today, with 13 in all during the course of their 2 mile, 1 furlong journey. Thanks, Leona. Yep, just a match for our first race. Blustery conditions. And they'll start midway down the back straight. Now 5 fences in the back straight these days. No cross fence here anymore. So runners being called forward. Flag is raised for this Follow Us at Vickersbet Novices Handicap Steeplechase. And they're off and racing. So away they head with Tell Him Listen, heading towards the first of 13. The first fence he'll take in public. He jumps it well. And Grey Skies over in second place also took it without any mishap as they race on towards the open ditch, which is number 2. Tell Him Listen has a lead of about 4 lengths as they approach the second. Tell Him Listen over in the lead, Grey Skies in second place. And they now climb uphill towards the last of the fences in the back straight on this circuit. And Tell Him Listen approaches the third. Grey Skies takes it in second, and no obvious mistakes between the two. The gap between the two, around about 5 lengths or so, once they exit the back straight. So a longer run these days between the fences in the back straight and the fences in the home straight. And the distance just trimmed to 3 lengths as they turn at the far end. Tell Him Listen out in the lead, looking for his 5th success in the month, having amassed 4 quick-fire wins over hurdles. Up against Grey Skies, who's had 3 runs over fences without success, but did win a couple of hurdle races. And the two of them have now completed the turn and raced towards the first of 2 plain fences in the home straight. Tell Him Listen over in the lead. Grey Skies in second place. And now they'll run downhill before climbing uphill towards the fence in the circuit's time will be the last. This time it will be number 5. So Tell Him Listen out in the lead under Sean Quinlan, looking for his 50th success at Sedgefield this afternoon amongst his 511 career successes. Pursued by Theo Gillard on Grey Skies for Donald McCain. Recently lost his allowance and had a winner as well yesterday, so he's got 76 career successes to his name. And so far in the early forays, not much has changed. Tell Him Listen has led. Grey Skies has jumped straighter than he did on his last appearance here so far, and he's only 3 lengths down as they turn away towards the fence on the side of the racecourse. And this is 8 from the finish. Tell Him Listen, leading Grey Skies towards it. And Tell Him Listen will rise at the 6th. Still with this lead of about 3 lengths. Grey Skies jumped up a little bit there. It's just closed slightly as they turn into the back straight. First 3 fences in the back straight come in pretty quick succession. And Tell Him Listen turns towards the first of them, still with this 2-length lead over Grey Skies in second place as they reach the first down the back. And Tell Him Listen, the first mistake, got into the bottom of it, and Grey Skies is within a length and a short run before the next. Tell Him Listen jumped that better. Grey Skies still right on his tail as they pass through their point of departure and on towards the third of the 5 in the back straight. And Grey Skies has jumped accurately, keeping tabs on Tell Him Listen as they now make their way on towards the open ditch. And this is 4 from the finish. Tell Him Listen, ridden into it, 2 lengths clear of Grey Skies. And they'll now make the climb uphill before this long run before the second last. So this is 3 from the finish. Tell Him Listen over in the lead by 2 lengths from Grey Skies. And Tell Him Listen just trying to turn the screw slightly. And just being given a little bit of encouragement by Sean Quinlan. Casts a glance behind, and Theo Gillard's still travelling okay on Grey Skies at this stage as they climb out of the back straight, reach just about the high point of the racecourse, and then we're on to run down towards the second last. Tell Him Listen being encouraged along. Grey Skies just trying to keep on the leader's tail as they'll quickly encounter the second last once they turn for home. Still 2 to 3 lengths between them. Tell Him Listen heading towards this second last. Grey Skies still about 3 lengths down, both of them just being pushed along. Tell Him Listen over 2 out. Grey Skies still close. And now they've got this long run down towards the last. Tell Him Listen maintaining an advantage at the moment, just hanging slightly. Grey Skies, as they head down towards the final fence, hasn't been able to bridge the gap, which remains at about 3 or 4 lengths, and Tell Him Listen is just beginning to ease away. The gap between them as big as it has been as Tell Him Listen comes down towards the final fence with a widening advantage now over Grey Skies. Fence number 13, coming towards it, Tell Him Listen. Makes a hash of it, brushes through the top. Oh, and loses the rider well after the fence. Brushed through the top, thought he got away with the error, but capsizes, deposits Sean Quinlan on the ground, a good 25 to 30 yards after the last, and Grey Skies is presented with the match by the capsize of Tell Him Listen at the very final obstacle. Did prove to be unlucky 13.